Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. So in my last video, I showed you how to use or how to make pumpkin puree using the pumpkins from your garden, as we are a gardening channel. And today I am going to show you how to make a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte with it. So this is a Copycat Starbucks recipe. So I am just making the simple syrup, and then I'm going to show you how to actually assemble the latte. So this is super easy. So you are going to need for this recipe a can of sweetened condensed milk, 2/3 a cup of that pumpkin puree that we made from the garden, half a cup of water, half a cup of white sugar, half a teaspoon of your pumpkin pie spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the salt. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a pot on the stove, just a small pot. We're going to put our half a cup of water in there, along with our half a cup of white sugar. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on to a medium high, and we are going to continuously stir this until the sugar dissolves into the water. And you just want to make sure that you're constantly stirring this so that that sugar doesn't burn to the bottom of the pan. So this will probably take up just about a minute or two, and you don't want it to get to a rolling boil, just enough to, like I said, get that sugar dissolved into the warm water. So we're going to do that, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so I have gotten that sugar melted into the water. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to add our 2/3 cup of our pumpkin puree to the water mixture. Okay, and now that we've done that, we are going to whisk it in. This recipe is super easy. And again, this is just making the syrup, the pumpkin spice syrup. And then you add your milk and your espresso to this, or your coffee to this, and that's what makes the latte. Okay, so that's mixed in. Now we are going to take our can and add it, our entire can of condensed milk. And condensed milk. And we're going to add that. Okay, so that's all in there, and now we are going to give it a really good mix and mix all of that condensed milk into the pumpkin pie mixture. Okay, we've got that done. Now at this point, we're going to add our half a teaspoon of our pumpkin pie spice. Mix that in. And this one you want to make sure you're getting it really good in there and getting all of that pumpkin pie flavoring into your liquid. And the last thing you add is your 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and that salt is just going to bring out that pumpkin flavor. And just give that a mix. So we're just going to mix this for about 10 to 15 seconds over the heat. And then once I am done that, we're going to remove it completely from the heat. And we are going to actually let this cool until it has come down to room temperature. And then once it's come to room temperature, you can store it in whatever container you'd like. I just store mine in a mason jar with a lid, and we're going to put it in the fridge. And like I said, that is going to be the basis for our latte. So I'm going to let this cool down, throw it in the fridge for a couple hours, and I'm going to come back and show you how to make that Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. Okay, so at this point we're ready to make our pumpkin spice latte. So there's two ways to make this. We can either do this warm or we can do this cold or iced. I prefer mine iced, so that's what I'm going to do, but I am going to show you the warm as well. So all you're going to need is the pumpkin syrup that we've made, some milk, and your coffee or espresso, about 3 ounces of that. And the milk, you're going to need a cup of that. So you're going to find a container or a mug or a cup that's going to hold at least 1.5 cups of liquid. So I choose to do mine in a mason jar because I'm doing mine iced, but if you have a big enough mug, if you're doing it warm, you can do that, or a tumbler, whatever you choose, as long as it's big enough. So the first thing we're going to need is about 5 tablespoons of our syrup into the bottom of your container. Okay, and it's at this point you are going to add your 3 ounces or 3 shots of espresso or coffee, or however it is you like your coffee. But the recipe calls for espresso, so I mean, if you're looking to copycat exactly, You're looking for 3 shots of that, and we're going to add it to our syrup. And we're just going to mix that around and make sure it's really incorporated. Now it's at this point you decide whether you want it hot or cold. So cold, we're just going to add cold milk and ice. If you want it hot, you at this point can take your milk and froth it. So you're going to need a milk frother. Pour half a cup of milk on the top and froth that up. Or you can froth it in a cup beside you and then add it to the top of that. Now, if it's not warm enough for you, because that is a cold mixture, I would pop that in the microwave for a minute or two. Sorry, not a minute or two. That's too much. Just for a few seconds until the mixture gets warm again, and then pop that foamed milk on top. So I'm doing mine iced, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna add a cup of milk to our mixture. Doesn't matter what kind of milk, whatever milk you use. And then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, our cup of cold milk is added. Again, I'm going to stir this around, and this is why I like doing it in the mason jar, because it's just so much easier. And now I'm going to add my ice, and I usually do about 8 big ice cubes in here. And there we have it, our pumpkin spice latte. This is so delicious. It's really very close to our Starbucks Copycat. But yeah. So that's what you're going to do with that puree that I showed you. And that's just one idea. I'm going to show you how to do pumpkin pie next. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.